All right. It's always a pleasure to talk with the one and only Jim Trotter, especially when he's saying things that I agree with. Thank you. Thank you for agreeing with me, Jim Trotter. Talking about running backs, I know everybody has running back commentary. Oh, the position has been devalued. You can just get any running back in the draft. Why draft it? You stupid if you draft a running back in the first round. You can get him in the third round, fourth round, whatever. And then you pay him whatever you want to pay him and move on. And I just think that commentary is limited and doesn't really, and just kind of lacks imagination in a lot of ways. Jim, tell me the impetus of the story of why you wrote what you wrote about running backs in the NFL.
Yeah, Michael, this is something that's been bothering me going back all the way to 2011 with the CBA when it was ratified and they put in that rookie wage scale. And at that time, what you realize is that all this talk about the running back position being devalued. Well, if you're a running back drafted in the first round, what it means is that in a league where the average career span is just over 3 years, teams are now able to tie you up for up to 8 years before you can actually get to the open market. And obviously, that's just unfair. And for me, it's an issue from this standpoint. I always believe that the most impactful players should make the most money. I don't care about the sport, but it's just curious that the NFL is the only sport, major professional sport, that ties salaries to the position that you play. So Josh Jacobs, without question, was the Raiders' best football player on offense last year. You might make an argument overall, although Max Crosby was outstanding for them defensively. But offensively, he did everything. And yet, if you look at him now, when he should be a free agent, in terms of salary cap allocation, he is 7th on the Raiders. And that just ain't right in my book.
Yeah, I agree with you. I really felt that they made a mistake by declining his 5th-year option because I think that he is extremely valuable to that team and what they do. And this is why I don't have a problem with Saquon Barkley declining to want to be involved in his franchise tag, because I believe it's $10 million. And I think that he believes that he's worth more than that. And for that offense, he absolutely is worth more than that. He's the reason why that team went to the playoffs, because when he's healthy, you have to account for him in the run game, in the pass game, and everything else. And so for me, I do side with the running backs because they do a lot of things. They don't just run the ball. They're also asked to pass protect. They're also asked to do some other things like go into the flat potentially and catch passes. So the fact that they're being devalued the way that they are just really doesn't sit right with me. I don't know if Saquon is going to get what he's asking for, but I feel like he's in the best position to do so out of all the guys that are remaining in free agency or looking for a new contract like J.K. Dobbins. But it's just crazy how this has all turned out.
Well, Reeta, I'll say this to you too. Let me go one step further. She is without question.
Then I'll tell you why
she's
my hero. Go ahead.
Let me go one step further with Saquon. The tough part for Saquon too is he played outstandingly last year and then has to sit back and watch Daniel Jones, who still have questions about whether or not he's that dude or not, get broken off in a major way at the quarterback position. And yet Saquon, they only want to pay him, and I say only because it's relative here, $10 million on this 1-year deal. So from that standpoint, if you are helping others get paid and yet you're not getting paid, that's a problem for me.
Okay, come on.
See, okay, first of all, I love both of y'all. I love both of y'all so much. Listen, you're both heroes of mine. Because this is a couple things. This is what I know about good people. Good people will take care of themselves. They will fight for justice for themselves. That's what good people do. But what great people do is fight for what's right, not just for them, but for others as well. And so when you look at those numbers, in the NFL, this should not just be running back speaking up saying, what about us? We're disrespecting. I agree with that headline. It is from the paper route. It is the most disrespected position in the NFL. But other players should be saying, wait a minute. You mean to tell me that a linebacker's average salary for a franchise tag is twice as much as a running back's? That's not right. And Reeta, and this is why I like what you had to say. A good running back, whether it's Jonathan Taylor or Josh Jacobs or Austin Eckler, they say, hey, carry the ball for us. They get a little snobby, they get a little attitude. If a running back, he doesn't like running between the tackles. He just bounces inside. So you're supposed to take your behind inside against, 300-pounders. They don't like it. Oh, well, he's good, but he doesn't pass protect. Okay, so you take on a linebacker. You take on a defensive end who is paid to destroy your quarterback. But as a running back, they ask you to do that. Oh, well, he's only a two-down guy. We like to see him on the field like it. We like to see what kind of hands he has. So you got to catch the ball, too. He fumbles too much. Yeah, I get hit all the time. They ask running backs to do so much. Be tough. Don't run out of bounds. Go ahead, take that guy on.
But look
I think
at the chart
should
up
be
there,
up in
Michael.
arms, Jim. The league should be up in arms.
Look at the chart there. The only position group that running backs make more than under the franchise tag are punters and kickers. So when you talk about running back contracts, the highest average per year, I believe, is Christian McCaffrey, a deal that was done, 4 years ago? So they are not even keeping up with the rate of inflation, if you will, as it relates to other positions. So again, for me, it's just not right. And I say it again, when you go to baseball, they don't, outfielders can make as much as pitchers and vice versa. You go to basketball, a guard salary isn't related to a forward salary or not. It's who are the most impactful players. And Josh Jacobs and Saquon Barkley were the most impactful players on their teams last year and deserve to get paid because of it, in my opinion.
And that chart, Reeta and Jim, the previous one, if you can put that back up there, guys. The previous chart is the reason this conversation often gets derailed. Because if you are one of these analytics folks,
wait,
hold on, let me just say, I'm gonna give it to you.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna give it to you. I'm gonna throw it to you. I'm just gonna set you up because I agree we agree. But I think people who are saying, it doesn't make sense to invest heavy financial dollars in that running back position, they go to this chart and say, look, you can get the job done for less than $1 million. So why not?
Michael, number one on that chart is who? The Chiefs with Isaiah Pacheco. People tend to forget there's a quarterback there whose name is Patrick Mahomes. If you give me another team that has a Patrick Mahomes, I'll say go out and get any running back you want then, if that's the argument you want to have. But Patrick Mahomes is on another level from anybody else in this league. So I'm not buying that at all. I think it's a silly argument, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
The other thing here for me is this. You have teams that build their offenses around the running back position. Not a lot, but you have some. I would argue Tennessee Titans have built their offense around Derrick Henry. I know we look at the Chargers and we say it's built around the quarterback, Justin Herbert. But damn, if you look at the production is Austin Eckler.
Yep.
So can the Chargers get away with not paying Austin Eckler what he wants? Yeah. Because why? Everybody says that's the system. I love when teams say, well, we would love to give you more, but that's the system. And then what happens when a quarterback wants a fully guaranteed deal, when Lamar Jackson wants a fully guaranteed deal? Oh, we can't do that for you. That's not the system. We don't do it. So it's funny when they use it, when it benefits them, but when it doesn't, it's like, can't do it. So
I'd argue,
go ahead, Reeta.
I'd add to what you said in terms of that list that you showed us, and they had 2019 for the New England Patriots. But let's be real. They had Jared Goff as their quarterback. That offense was centered around Todd Gurley. And the reason why they don't win, they probably win or in a better position. And yes, I know that they also lost their wide receiver. I'm very well aware. But Todd Gurley really made that offense go, and as well as cool. So my thing is that if he is there, if Todd Gurley is there, yes, Cup's loss would have been huge, but Todd Gurley is not going to allow the Rams to score the little bit of offense and a little bit of production that they scored in that Super Bowl. I'd argue that his value is why they potentially lost that Super Bowl, because they needed him there.
Hey, thank you for watching Brother from Another. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, go ahead and do that now. Don't forget you can catch us 3 to 4 weekdays on PeacockTV.com and on Sirius XM Channel 85.